logical facts here. Anyway, and influences of Freemasonry and New Thought. Origins of the movement. Frank Curry, born in um, I want to get where he founded, Frank Curry founded one of the first black Hebrew Israelite congregations in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 1886. Later, relocating to Philadelphia. Curry preached that African Americans were the true Hebrews and exposed various controversial beliefs, including anti-Semitism. I ain't gonna go into all of that. Um, the second one was William Crowdy Sanders, born in 1847 in Maryland. Crowdy's a military background before claiming to have received a divine vision in the 1890s, instructing him to lead African Americans out of spiritual and mental bondage. He began preaching in the late in 1892, establishing the Church of God and Saints of Church and of love and adherence of the Ten Commandments, and obedience from alcohol and abstinence of alcohol and tobacco. All right, so now let's talk about let's get into this 12 tribes chart, right? The 12 tribes chart used by some groups within the Black Hebrew Israelite movement is attributed to Abba Bibbins and his successors, particularly leaders of the ISUPK, the Israelites Practical Knowledge, Abba Bibbins, who broke away from the Commandment Keepers in 1960s. So before I continue, I just want to explain that this is where they get their ideals from. Older people who claim to have had premonitions, and this is why none of that stuff is really based on facts, because it all came from someone who had a premonition of this, a vision. Anyway, let's get back into it. um the main issue with the 12 tribe chart as used by some groups within Black Hebrew Israelite movement resolve around the historical and genetic inaccuracies. It has genetic inaccuracies, historical accuracy. Scholars have long debated the historical accuracy of the 12 tribe Israelite chart described that the Hebrew Israelites of the Hebrew Bible. Some suggest that the tribes may not have played a significant role as traditionally believed, and their existence as distinct entities is questioned, and narrative of tribes may have been later constructed by Judaizers, authors to divine collective identity for Israel, not Africa, Israel. This casts doubt in the historical basis linking modern ethnic groups to these ancient tribes. Genetic evidence. I'm going to give y'all some more genetic evidence. Genetic studies have shown that the ancestry of African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans is highly mixed due to historical interactions such as the transatlantic slave trade and the European colonization. There is no genetic evidence, none. This is why he can't give you any, that support the claim that these groups are directly descendant from the ancient Israelites. The genetic ancestry of these populations is complex and reflects a blend of African, Native American, European lineage rather than a single Israelite origin. Right? Okay. Now let's go here with it. So these are where I got my sources from. And so basically, hold on, I'm gonna cam back up here in a second. All right. So basically, everything I just showed. from the genetics to even the historical of how this idea even came arose that African Americans even became to even think about being African Americans, or Hebrew Israelites and things of that nature. If it wasn't for Frank Cherry, and Crowder, these people wouldn't even been thinking this way. But I mean, why wouldn't they think this way? They believe other men in the Bible had visions. Why couldn't these people have visions? And I'm gonna end with this. Since he believed in, people with visions, I want to know, and I want him to answer. Do he also believe in the visions of Nostradamus? And I'm gonna land with that. Thank y'all for allowing me to speak.
Good job. Good job. People will child. It's your rebuttal, right? Because he just came with the with the he in his rounds. I'm gonna need you to really come with it, bro. Is you ready?
Lil
Ooh,
Wayne
I'm so
said,
glad.
"The block is hot. The block is hot."
I mean, I'm just saying, this is your rebuttal round. You got an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, with the heat. With the heat. Yeah, he came with the heat now. I get tired of people saying I'm all biased and stuff over here. Like, I'm going to be petty with, man, bro. You guys to come with it. I'm just saying, I'm just a host. Thank you for coming and everybody for showing up to Debate.Cause Society's debate tonight. Our African Americans, descendants of the Israelites. We've heard a lot of information here. We're already in the second round, and we're now about to hear Pitbull's second round statement. And then we'll be going a little bit further into their closing rounds with also the question and answer rounds. So, yeah, Emperor L. Bop, 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 bop. So
right now,
yeah.
Okay. So just to be clear, that was Humble's rebuttal, correct?
No,
No,
that
that
was
was
my
Humble.
second round.
That was his second round. So now it's Kalim's rebuttal.
Absolutely.
Got it. All right.
So we're gonna continue on with this DNA and haplogroup for a minute to close this thing out and further proving what we came here to prove today. Go ahead, Rita.
E1B1A1 is a haplogroup commonly found among African population, and its presence among African Americans can be traced back to ancestral roots in Africa. Many African Americans with E1B1A1 likely have ancestors with West and Central Africa, where this haplogroup is prevalent. The Pacific lineage can vary among individuals, but here are some points regarding African Americans with E1B1A1. Ancestry: individuals with this haplogroup may have ancestries linked to the Pacific West African ethnic groups such as Yoruba,
Yoruba, Igbo, Khans, as well as Bantu-speaking populations.
General studies. Genetic testing has revealed that a significant percentage of African Americans
Wait,
carry.
read that part again. Genetics.
Genetic testing has revealed that a significant percentage of African Americans carry E haplogroups, with E1B1A1 being one of the most common subclades. Studies indicate that E haplogroup is prevalent in African Americans due to transatlantic slave trade, which brought many individuals from West and Central Africa to the United States. Community: African American who identify who identify with the haplogroup may find a shared heritage with specific tribes and cultures from their ancestral homes, fostering connections through the genealogical,
Genealogical
genealogical, I think.
research or DNA testing. Overall, E1B1A serves as a valuable gene marker for understanding the ancestry connections of African Americans to their African roots. So this E1B1 A1 that he's trying to downplay so tough is the very essence of what it is that we are. You can't deny that. And he tried to associate all of the other nations that are not us to having this, which they don't. And we can prove that as well. So I got some information for you on that. The why.
The Y chromosome is passed down from the father to son, making a useful tool for tracing parental lineage and understanding genetic diversity among different populations. Certain regions and populations have higher frequencies of specific Y chromosome haplogroups, which can indicate historical migration patterns and demographics.
Sub-Saharan Africa, many populations have high diversities of Y chromosome haplogroup, reflecting the deep ancestral roots of human population in the region. So what we are saying right here is that the people that are coming out of sub-Saharan through the transatlantic slave trade would carry these markers over any other people involved. These direct descendants and direct connections to the people. And we're going to see that the Middle Eastern, the Y chromosome haplogroup J, it's not the same as the E1B1A. It's a totally different haplogroup. And that's what I was trying to show my opponent here. And that's what I'm trying to show the judges and you guys, that what he is associating to us is not us, but we have one particular and one precise haplogroup in which we derive from. All of these other nations, you're not going to see that through. Europeans, haplogroup R1b or R1a are prevalent in Western and Eastern Europe. You're not going to get this from nowhere else. You're not going to get the E1B1 from nobody else. And that's where he's going to lose this debate at, because I'm proving that now, showing you that none of these other nations, none of these other people have that Y E1B1A haplogroup. None of these other nations have it. All these other nation groups tied to a different
1
lettering.
minute. 1 minute.
Or we go back up to the top, you're going to get the Mr. Eden. The Middle East and Sub-Saharan is about it. So when he's saying and making these claims that other nations are tied to the lineage, that's false. That's false. That's false. So we got to go with what the scholars say, which in ancestry and through the testing that been done that we shown earlier in this round, where it links the African so-called Americans to the people of Hebrew, the Hebrew people, Salaki. He's going to have a hard time debunking this fact that no other nation is tied to this lettering group of Hablos like we are. Nobody else is. You got to show it to me, brother. I digress.
Got 10 seconds.
And also, this would furthermore prove that we are not African Americans, but descendants of the ancient Israelites.
Time. Time.
That was good. That was good. You wrapped that little up in little 2.3 seconds. Okay. All right. All right. 10 seconds is crazy hitters. Wow, we have heard a lot of information. All these numbers is getting so jumbled up in my head, but I'm with y'all for real. And I know everybody else, the judges are totally hearing everything. I hope you guys are writing down all this information because it's a lot going on here. So, with that being said, now we can go into our closing arguments. Are you all ready to go into your closing arguments?
Most
Let's
definitely.
go.
All right. But before you all do, I mean, I'm just saying, like, who are y'all feeling in the comments? what do you all think? I would love to hear from my people in the comments because we had one round already, and that first round kind of went to Humble. I was getting a lot of twos for Humble there. So I would like to know Jesse Jackson is a sellout. Yashar, why, bro? Why? Why do you keep doing me like this? Oh my goodness. Why do you keep doing me like this? You keep putting. So, for all the people who are here and present, I would love to know, who are you hearing from the best? What is it? I'm getting a lot of number twos now. Popular vote, y'all. Popular vote. Humble is beating Pitbull kind of bad. Ooh. Ooh. Wee.
It was said to be hot in here. I don't know. I think Keelan came with a glacier. You know what I'm saying? And he
Mm,
imported his information straight from Antarctica. It ain't hot no
damn.
more.
Cooled him off with that one,
Damn.
didn't it? I'm trying to see how you gonna get around that fact. Big talk.
I'm just saying. Jesse might have been a sellout, but he ain't here at this debate to hear this information right about now. And
Uh,
I'm
And
seeing
if
a lot of number two. Number two,
uh,
Roz, is Humble, the humble one. And Dan, you should have been here from the start. All I can say is, everybody, please do again share the live. Share the live, right? Share the live. Because we still got a little bit more to go. It is now 9:33. We are doing such good timing, everybody. And don't forget, Club Yashara will be open for the after party. I got to get my seat because I got so much to say. Humble, I hope you can come through to the after party because I got some stuff to say. And I literally cannot say nothing. I can't say anything. I can't. Judges, I hope you guys are on point and on beat so that I can get these scores clocked in so that I can calculate this jump up real quick. Real quick,
that's
real
right.
quick.
Y'all heard what she said. Club Yashara is going down. We need to talk about this. We gotta get down
we
to. We gotta get not to the bottom because I understood that somebody else's phrase. But anyway, we gonna get to the core of this situation. You know what I'm saying?
I,
We
yes,
going
because
back in time.
I guess UPK, I know y'all better be in the building because y'all was cited
They
as a
called him
source in
out.
this bit. Okay? Called them all
Real
the way
nigga
out.
university. Real nigga university. You real niggas. All the real niggas. If you a real nigga, pull up the Club Yashara. If you a real nigga,
Okay.
pull up the
Pull
Club
up.
Yashara because real nigga university definitely got called out.
Mm-mm. I hope y'all stay here long enough because, again, like I said, after they have question and answer round, then anybody from out the comments can come up. But I'm gonna need y'all to send me some beans. Yeah, because we need to get some beans. We need to get it thrown and cracking here. Yashar, you got that clock? You got them clocks ready over there for these closing statements? 8 minutes apiece, or 8 minutes for the closing round. Y'all better get it in now with these closing rounds because nothing else can be said after this. But I really want to hit up with this William Crowdy, sir. Ooh, he
Yeah,
hitting
that
it, right?
too. And I want to say one more thing, just a reminder. The
Not a
club is
recount.
open. The reminder that the club is open free before 12. All right. So that means if you first come, first serve. But once the seats is filled up, it is 100 beans to get in the club. Also, on a very important note, when you get in the club, somebody find Jesse Jackson number so we can talk to this nigga.
Is he
We
still
have
alive?
got to find Jesse Jackson. Is he still alive? If Jesse Jackson ain't
Somebody
still alive,
fact
we
check
need to
us.
talk
Where
to
you
a
at?
close. Right, yeah. Where the fact checkers at? Is Jesse Jackson alive? Do we
Is
have
this nigga still
relatives?
alive?
We gotta speak to
Where's
somebody
his
that know
daughter?
Jesse Jackson. We gotta find this nigga.
Jesse, we finna beat your ass. No, let me stop. Um, no, for real though. So, Pitbull, you have the first go with the closing round. Uh, whenever you're ready, wrap it up, sir. Let's wrap it on up. Knock it at the box. Knock it at the box.
All right, so again, we're gonna start right where we left off, talking on the different haplogroups that consist of the Y and how they're split lineage or how they're split into different groups that don't associate to the same stock of people. So when Humble spoke on the Y via the E1, E1, B1, A1, his understanding is flawed due to the fact that, like I just showed in my rebuttals, there are multiple facets that are buttoned up to that. But everything that happened to the sub-Saharan Africans in the middle, so-called Middle Eastern Africans, was show and exemplify that these are the peoples that carry the marker here in America today. You don't see another group of people or nationality that tote those markers in that manner. Like I said, every other genealogy that constructs a nation to the Y is going to either end in an R1 or Q or a O, and so on and so forth. So to understand this genealogy and the markers that are within it, you first must know what it is. Do we know what it is? 1 second. Let me get some info. My computer take a. Which one is that? That's not it. Anywho, we're just gonna get through this. What we know about these different genealogies is it proves that the people that were taken in the transatlantic slave trade from sub-Saharan African and all down the western coast, associating places like the Congo and that's Central Africa, places like the Gold Coast, which where a lot of the trading was taking place. We migrated into those nations and can see that throughout the history and throughout time that it has been that way and nothing has changed. Humble, the burden of proof is on you to show that the nations in which are participating or was taken in these captivities have a different DNA or genetic marker than what we're shown and have proved here through the history and archaeology till this day. The burden of proof is on you to do that. I've proved that these very markers and these very haplogroups that are associated to us and our people are as such. That's irrefutable. The fact that you try to particularize the white haplogroup, not knowing the facets of it, when I showed the people that certain nations carry the Y, but it's not the same. That giving you the E1B1A. None of these other nations are giving you that B1, that E1B1A1 DNA. No other nations are doing it. The burden of proof is on you to do that. I'm going to, due to my laptop not operating, I'm going to yield the rest of my time. I have to. I have to. I have to. This whole debate went left at the end as far as the information that I have.
Oh,
Or don't have at this point.
oh, y'all be killing me. Like
It's not pulling up.
y'all should be talking out the. Thank you, Bougie. Thank you. That's my
I
face
agree.
right there.
I agree.
It is. It is what it is with another 4 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock. You ain't got nothing to say. You ain't got no shit talking or nothing.
No, I'd rather not do that because at the end of the day, I think my point was proven, and then he got to show he's not going to be able to get around this DNA. at the end of the day. He's not going to be able to get around the haplogroups. He's not going to be able to get around none of the facts that I've already given till this point.
All right. Humble Mystic,
To this point.
it's on you. It's on you. It's on you. You have 8 minutes.
Blessings, blessings. Okay, go ahead, start it. And I'm gonna take the first couple of minutes just to say, um, my opponent have brought no sources. I think if we was to count two sub references, Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson, and Jesse became really the theme of the debate after a while. He did his thing. But anyway, but even when that was the case, I even came through and I showed how Jesse Jackson didn't even support the idea that African Americans wasn't Hebrew Israelites. And then his last ending round supported everything that I was saying.
No.
It support after they did all of that. This is why I took my 15. Because we did all that fighting and scrambling and all of that. And then his ending supported what I was saying. And then he want me to bring out the information that he helped me bring out to support what he's trying to say is the African American or is the Israelites. But we clearly see they're not Israelites. And I showed y'all where they got this ideology from. They got this ideology from Frank Carey. That's where that they got the people that started having visions and say, "Oh, I gotta go save all the melanin or the black African American people. I gotta tell them they gotta follow this book." That's where they got these ideas from. And these ideas, they say they ancient, but they are rooted in Christianity. They rooted in if I may share my screen because I am going to get in, so I might as well real fast. Masonry, that's another one I wanted to say. As I have shown, right? You know, so let's get into this though. So, um, listen to this. Let's talk about historical context. I'm going to show y'all why the Israelites cannot be the same as the Africans as they're trying to proclaim, or the African Americans, right? The idea that African Americans are direct descendants of ancient Israel's is a relatively recent construct emerging from the late 19th to the early 20th century. It is crucial to understand that the beliefs is not rooted in long-lasting historical documentation or tradition. Before the arrival of Christian influence to sub-Saharan Africa, that's right, there was an arrival of Christian influences. He made it seem like this tradition was already there. No, there was an arrival of Christian influences in sub-Saharan Africa. But before the arrival of Christian influences in sub-Saharan Africa, right, Africa was rich in diverse traditional African religions. So they didn't even know nothing about a Bible then. So that means they wouldn't even know nothing about an Israelite. Characterized by animalism and polytheism. These indigenous beliefs involve the worship of spirits, natural phenomena, with each ethnic group practicing its own unique tradition. So here he's saying all these people was doing the same thing. And they all call themselves Israelite. But before that Bible came, we seen them doing their own thing. Okay. It says, in the 4th century AD, Christianity was introduced to Ethiopia by Frumentius, a missionary from Greece. After being shipwrecked and captured, Frumentius became a trusted advisor in the Aksumite court. where he promoted Christianity. He was eventually appointed as the first bishop of Ethiopia. This Greek-speaking person was appointed bishop, not an African, but a Greek. Anyway, by Atlantius, the patriarch of Alexandria. His influence led to conversation of King Aneza and the establishment of Christianity as the state's religion. This marked a significant shift in religious landscape of Ethiopia as Christianity spread throughout the region, facilitated by the translation of religious texts into logical language and the establishment of monotheistic communications. Right? Now, listen to this, because this is where Frank Sherry and them got their information mixed up. And so to spread false information, to where as though my brothers picked that up and now they speaking false information. The Beta Israel is what my brother is trying to talk about when he say the Israels came over, da da da. But let's listen to this though, my brothers and sisters. The Beta Israel, or Ethiopian Jews, quote unquote, as we like to say, trace their origins to ancient times, specifically to the period of Aksum conquered by Cush in the 4th century CE under King Aneza. The people in these conquered territories initially adopted Christianity. So these people in Kush adopted Christianity from the Axumites. Over time, they developed a distinct identity, adopting the culture and identity of the Israelites as depicted in the Bible. So this is why they think they can go back to Ethiopia and stuff like that and show, okay, well, there's Jews over here. Yeah, because those people are descendants from people who branched off in Christianity because they started to see themselves in the Bible. It doesn't mean that they were actually them. Let's get back into some genetic evidence, right? It say the genetic and historical evidence strongly indicate that African Americans primarily descend from sub-Saharan African population, not Israelites. DNA studies consistently trace African American ancestry to sub-Saharan Africa, such as Ghana, Nigeria, and the Ivory Coast. Right? These on a whatchamacallit. Now he talked about the Y chromosome, the genetic marker prevalent in 70 to 97% of West African populations and 20 to 60% in Central African, and originated actually approximately 40,000 years ago. Now, mind you, I told you in round 2, the Israelites wasn't even thought of 40,000 years ago. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Very good. Very good. A lot of information brought out here. Um, ooh, child. Wrote down a lot of information we got here. Okay. So now we're gonna go into the question of who is she? Only she up here is me, bro. Who the hell is she? Anyway, I don't know. I ain't even saying nothing wrong, so that's a boy, Damon. Listen,
The person that
I just
said that
want
is a little.
to. Okay, I just have to get it together because I. Oh, Lord. We're going into the question and answer round. I got a lot of information here. So between Pitbull and Humble, I'm going to allow for us to start with that. Hmm. Oh, child, y'all. You guys really got it in today. I really want to greatly appreciate you all showing up and bringing out all this information that you all have for us today. Um, This was a really good debate. I wish you all would have talked more and gave us some more information more. Like that would have just really
I'm not
got
gonna
it
lie.
in.
My computer take a crap. I had to buy a whole new computer and do this whole debate over today. But it's cool.
Listen. So my previous debate, y'all know yesterday, and I didn't win that debate. However, one of the reasons I didn't win that debate is because we had 8 minutes around, and I had so much information that I had to rush through everything. Though this time it was a little different, even though we did have 8 minutes around, but it didn't feel as rushed. And when I felt myself rushing, I said, "Okay, let me slow down." And so,
Yeah.
you know, I did come out rushing at first because I was like, "Okay, 8 minutes. I don't want to get stuck in between the rounds." So
Right. It's cool. I ain't on that. We ain't got to rush because you got the opportunity to bring it out all ways. So,
It's a
4
lovely
questions
platform.
apiece, right? Because the platform make it so that y'all don't have to feel that way.
It's a
And you know
lovely
what I'm
platform.
saying? Like we got we got some questions and answers we need to get given here around this part, around these times now. Um,
Let's go.
Pitbull, Pitbull, you was running, you was talking, and you weren't supposed to be talking. So I clocked you on that one, buddy.
Dang.
You was off your
I
mic
didn't
and
even
you
know
was
I was
talking.
off of mute. I did not know. I take that though.
Yeah, I was like, you ain't see my face. I was like, I was like, you did it. Y'all can't do that interrupting now. Not nice.
Time.
So 4 questions apiece are going to be asked by each participant, right? This is a big part of how you all will lose or gain points. So we are all going to be here to listen to y'all, ask these questions, answer these questions. If you need any help, judges, you can ask the moderator. If y'all have any questions or you need clarification, please don't forget to appeal to your moderator. Ali, say hi, shalom. Appeal to him so that you all can get clarification if need be, because we don't want y'all arguing and all that good stuff like that. You understand? So, Ali, you there?
Shalom Barakatah.
Shalom, barakatah. So, all right. So the first question, um, first question will be, I'm going to start with Humble Mystic, Humble One. You can ask the question of Khalil.
you said I can ask a question.
You're going to ask him the question first. Yep.
Oh, okay. Um. mm. So a question I would have to ask you is, um, what year, right? What year did, because you spoke of um the Solomon Temple, right? Which exilic period was that?
What exile and period was the what? You
Was
got
the
to be more precise
destruction,
on that.
first off, there were two destructions of Solomon's temple. I'm not sure which one you were talking about. However,
I
referring to Solomon's temple, I want to ask you, what exilic period was that? Because we know
Time.
Jerusalem went through a series of exilic periods.
Time.
So oh, go ahead.
Nah, you
Well,
only
I
got a minute to ask your question, bro.
Okay.
yeah, I
okay.
don't.
So we're going to be fair, right? If y'all don't mind, moderator, because I didn't quite hear a question. Like,
I don't know.
and I want to get this question.
Okay,
I want to get this
fair
question
Yeah,
in.
enough.
I ain't gonna lie.
Moderator,
I don't know what that question was. I'm writing it down too. I'm like, what year was
I'm
period
trying.
exile? I'm
He asked
confused, nigga.
he asked what he asked which period is he talking about as far as the destruction of
That's
Solomon's
not
temple?
what he
Which
asked.
period?
That's not what he
Yes,
asked.
Okay, so
yes,
is
that
that
is what I was
substantially
asking.
what he's
That
asking?
thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
70 AD.
Thank you, Tasha.
So wait, for
Around 70
clarification,
AD.
the question was, what year was Solomon Temple destroyed? Is that what the question was?
Which year was the Solomon Temple that he was talking about? Mind you, Solomon's temples was destroyed
Well,
twice.
well, I was very precise when I spoke that, and I said the second temple, which would have been 70 AD. I was very precise on that.
Is that your answer, Ak? So I can stop the clock.
Yeah, that's my answer.
All right. You got your answer? Okay. Kalium, it's your turn to answer. Ask him a question.
The question that I have for Humble would be, in your approach at this debate, how you're colloquializing the people that went into subjugation versus the people that were actually brought over here on the ships. How are you colloquializing who are who? Who's who? Is that a right word? The way Kiss is doing, I can tell something ain't right.
Hey, boy, y'all niggas confusing
Colloquialize.
me, boy. Hey, y'all
So
niggas
that
better
ain't a
start
good
speaking.
question.
Y'all better start speaking nigga up in here. These
All
niggas
right.
niggas
Trying to use
said
big words and shit. All right. Okay.
colloquializing.
All
I'm
right. Well,
confused.
that means mashing
Do you mean
together.
categorizing?
No, no, I didn't mean categorizing. But for time's sake, did I? For time's sake, how are you grouping the people? Because we know that this slavery was uh, took place in multiple locations throughout the coast of Africa. How are you terming the people that went on the ships?
Through DNA testing. I brought that out in my second round through DNA genetic testing, right? So now we're not going to sit here and say that through genetic code we can get everybody in the past in every specific. No, but we can get a grouping of a location of where that was. So when you go through the genetics, even as you stated, right? Um, it tells you that these people were in these regions of Africa.
Right. Huh. So is that still on my minute?
He answers the question. Y'all next.
Okay.
Combo, your question to Kalium.
When was the term? When was the first term Jew? When was that first coin? When was a group of people first called that?
The first term would be when we became a nation with that name, Judah, stemming from the man who was the father of the Judites,
About 80% of the people that
around, I would say, the 5th century BC.
Yep.
All right, there's your answer. 5th century BC. Um, Now it is your turn, Pitbull, to ask Humble Mystic your second question.
My second question would be, due to all of the evidence that I presented you about why haplogroup and the E1B1A, and showing that all other nations that would have been partakers in the transatlantic slave trade and any other conquest uh, don't have those same markers to lead to E1B1A, how are you saying that all these other nations are the same, or you can't tell the difference? Because we know this is the very marker that most of the African Americans bear.
exactly. And so, what you notice that in African Americans that bear the E1, B1A gene, it goes back to sub-Saharan Africa. Now you're asking, okay, how are you determining who people are originally from sub-Saharan Africa and who people migrated into sub-Saharan Africa, right? Well, the gene would be most prominent, as I stated earlier. 75 to 90, 85 to 90% in population of the Aboriginal people that came from that land. So what happens, right? They have genetic DNA from those people, and it matches up, but it matches up from that land. It don't match up with from Syria. And I can't even say I can't even say the name Canaan no more, because then y'all are going to use an ideology and place that in Africa. So I'm just going to use the modern day name Syria. It does not match over there. It matched right here in Africa, just as you stated.
All right, very good. That's your answer?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm. All right, Humble. This is your third question. All right.
All right.
So you can go ahead and uh ask the question of people.
Okay. Um. Before this idea of matter of fact, I got a good question for you, right? Is being a black Hebrew Israelite to you, because I spoke about this in the debate, is that a movement to you, or is that a culture, and why?
Being a black so-called Hebrew Israelite, uh, it's definitely not a movement. It is definitely a heritage. It's a culture. It is a way of life. It is everything that we exist within. And how is because when we look at the law, statutes, and commandments of the nation, it governs our everyday, from the highest esteem problematics to the lowest. Uh, the things in which how we are to conduct ourselves in every way of life is based off of these principles. So that would definitely make it more than just a movement, and it would construct it as a way of life, which would be a heritage, a cultural, all of these things.
Okay. Good job. Good job. All right. So that was Humble's third question. Kalium or Pitbull.
So humble, we both have agreed that a lot of the slaves coming out of sub-Saharan bear the E1B1. So how is it now, here at the end of the debate, that we're still denying that these slaves that have the E1B1 DNA marker, and it's been proven by yourself and myself that these slaves did come from that area and did end up here in America, how you're now still saying that we are not descendants of the so-called Hebrew Israelites?
Because that would make in your ideology, and I'm going to ask you this question, but that would make in your ideology Jacob uh sub-Saharan African, which we know he is not. Which we know he is from Syria, which with modern day Syria and Lebanon. He's from that region. He's not from sub-Saharan Africa. So if y'all say he got the E1B1A gene, and that proves us that it's predominantly in him, but that would make him sub-Saharan African. But when we go to his story, now you brought up some Bible. And I'm sure in the Bible it tells you where Jacob was born. And I'm sure it does not say he was born anywhere along the areas of sub-Sahara Africa. And so this is why that's a discrepancy, because at this point you're arguing with science. It's like your belief is arguing with the scientific notion that even you're like you just said, we agree with one another. The V1B1 gene go back to Africa. We got no discrepancies on that. What we do have a discrepancy on is though, those people were not Israelites. And it's clearly say they wasn't Israelites because it existed 40,000 years before there was anything as an Israelite. I land my plane.
Mm. All right. So now it is your turn to ask your last and final question of him. Humble, your question to Pitbull.
Oh, snaps. Okay. I'm here. Um, Speaking on that, snaps. Look, I was just so caught up into answering the question. Um, what is your solid evidence of proof that the African Americans are descendants from the Hebrew Israelites?
Well, one of my solid proofs would be the E1A marker, and that we just proved that we have, alike our ancestors that came here by way of ships through the transatlantic slave trade, as you admitted to and agreed with me on. The only discrepancy that you have and seem to have forget is that the nation of Israel took over the land of Canaan and made it their home. So when you associate them with sub-Sahara and say that they are from there, they were nomadic people given land by the Most High. When they were given the land of Canaan, we lived there until we were forced to be somewhere else. So how do you get around the fact that we inherited the land from the Most High and our people and ancestors was rooted there, in up until we was taken out of there through Sahara slave trade? By and large, there are many people of our ancestors still there during that time. So I would ask you, how are you saying that we are not these people that you just clearly admitted to us being? You clearly admitted to us being those, and I say this for this point, just to prove that when you say